folks, the day has come. The day we knew was coming. The day when Tommy Robinson would practically get put off of YouTube. Okay, so what this illustrates is that the rule of law is of none effect. And leftists think they're going to tread down their enemies, but ultimately treading down their enemies and collapsing the rule of law is going to bring about lawlessness. So in the end, the left is going to be the ones that suffer the most. But let them have their little happy day, happy day, happy day. Probably should be a gift or a meme of the leftists going a little happy day, happy day, happy day, happy day. But anyway, so, because this shows that law means nothing. I said even the UK with their massive strict laws on hate speech, which their laws I think are draconian. They're probably worse than Russia, maybe even China, who knows. But even with all those laws, they still could not get anything legal on Tommy Robinson. It's the same as with Trump, President Trump. With all the stupid left going after him, they can't find anything of any substance. They can't, which is funny. But in America, the left is still forced to obey the law because they can't find anything on Trump, so they can't get him. They can keep trying. So right now, the left in America is trying to just continually chase after Trump for nothing burgers because they're hoping to find something, and they're also hoping that if they lie long enough, the public will believe them. However, in the case of Tommy Robinson, it's quite clear that the rule of law is not making a difference. He obeyed the law. And I believe businesses should have to obey the law. Like I said, and he hasn't even been breaking the terms of service on YouTube. He is being discriminated against because of who he is. And because if the left can't get you with anything legal, they're going to get you anyway because they don't like you. So this opens the door for people on the right to ignore the law and slap people in the left in jail. It opens the door because basically if the laws are not being followed by everybody, everyone will just start ignoring them. They'll ignore their favorite law. They'll go after their enemies. They'll like, who cares about the law? They didn't obey the law in the case of Tommy Robinson, so we'll go after some right wing, will go after some left wing political person and throw them in jail. They didn't break any laws. No, but we just feel like throwing them in jail because we don't like them. You see what I mean? This is where this is going. Because if people see equal justice is not being meted out under the law, they're going to start disobeying the law too. And when everyone starts disobeying the law because it has no meaning, then you have chaos and you have anarchy, and in short, you have a ghastly mess. And this is what the left is doing. But they don't care if they have a ghastly mess. They don't care if the country is just in an ash pile. As long as they can dance around the ash pile with a little tin can on their head that says king and say, I won. They don't care about anything except winning. And they don't care if it destroys everybody in the process. Because the left is just bad and wrong, and there's ample evidence to prove it with facts. The left can't prove the right is wrong because they have nothing substantial to back it with. The right can prove the left is wrong using Christianity, for one, and using American ways and freedom, using the civilization system. The left says the right is evil, not based on anything, not based on any facts, just based because the right does not want the left to win. The right does not want the left to have all the power and money they want, so therefore, anyone who doesn't want them to have everything is evil. You see? And that is not evidence. That's not evidence. So, you can see where I'm going with this. Alright. So, we knew the issue with Tommy Robinson was coming, and we're positively going to protest it. And I said, as many free market solutions should be sought as can be, but in the end, these companies really need to obey the law. And we're going to have to adopt some new strategies to deal with these lawless leftists, because that's what they are. They're lawless leftists who just are pushing their own personal agenda. It's not based on civilization, it's not based on religion, it's just based on their personal power and wealth. And like I said, the law enforcement is pretty embarrassing over there in Europe. In America, we're still hanging in there by a thread. But I was thinking about the case about how, Martin Sellner was practically arrested and being persecuted because that one terrorist gave him a donation. And you see, time after time, the police in Europe and the UK, they are taking the path of least resistance. Oh, they do that some in America too, but it's not quite as widespread. The police in Europe, they're out persecuting people for saying a few words on Twitter or Facebook. And they're persecuting someone, investigating, raiding someone's home because they got a donation from the wrong type of person. The bottom line is that the law enforcement is just as cowardly as the governments. They're just as cowardly and just as corrupt. I expect that we will next see the UK police raiding a museum or an art gallery and arresting artifacts, clamping handcuffs on paintings, on frames of paintings, and carting the painting off to jail because this painting was staring meanly at somebody. Or something in this picture looks like it might be racist, it might offend somebody. Let's arrest this painting. We're going to arrest it. If it weren't so sinister and evil, it would be funny. But I'm very sure that's where this is going next. The police will be raiding museums to confiscate artifacts, because they need to do something to make them feel like they're doing their job. There are plenty of other places they could raid, dangerous places like no-go zones and other things. I'm sure they have plenty of terrorists to keep them busy, more than they want. But they persist in chasing down people arguing on social media, and persist in arresting paintings in art galleries and handcuffing museum artifacts, because that is the path of least resistance, and as long as they can get away with that, they will continue to do it. All right, back to where we are now. We seem to be heading for a post-internet society. The corporatist globalists and some of the governments are clamping down. The freedom of the internet is being eroded very quickly. It is becoming more of a weapon against people than a tool to help them. I'm starting to envision a future where people can independently host their own content more frequently, and they just need to have the monopoly needs to be broken up. I mean, now if the governments are going to get causing problems with the internet, that's another matter. But as far as private companies, gotta go for breaking up those monopolies. And even all the alternative media sites aren't safe, and even if people can host their own websites and their own content without other companies, that's not safe, because the left is the problem. The left will come for, like I said, they will take you out of their search engines, they'll block you, they will, because we need new search engines that are not biased. And ultimately, if we conservatives succeed in building our own presence online, independent, or our own internet, independent of the left, they will attack the electricity. They will, because we know how the left works. They look for any way, fair means or foul, to accomplish their purpose. We've seen them before in history, and we'll see them again. And like I said, and we know they're going to continue to go after Tommy Robinson and try to take away his email, take away his whatever they can take away. And because the problem is the left. We have to defeat the left at the nucleus. We got to defeat them at the root. And the root is the left. They are the cause of the problem. So we continue to speak out. And the second thing we do is we just say no. When the left says, "You can't say this, you can't look at me like that," you gotta say no. We need to, show our courage and push back on the left. I said the power of the people, the collective power, is the best power we have. We band together our outrage. That is one of our best weapons at this moment. So we gotta band together and keep the pressure on the left until, do our best to kick all the bad ones out of office and keep electing new ones. And eventually the tide will shift. It will shift. So, wrapping this up, where is the hope in all of this? I know you're depressed because, Tommy Robinson is being continually restricted and freedom is taking blows and the internet is declining. It's being taken over by tyrannical governments and tyrannical private businesses. But the hope in all of this. Guess what? The internet is only about 20 years old. 25 years old. And how old is the world? The world is thousands and thousands of years old. Kingdoms have risen and fallen. We can do without the internet if we have to. The internet has been a great convenience for us, and we will continue to do as much as we can with it. If worse comes to worse, and the internet falls to tyranny, we can still survive. Kingdoms and nations still rose and fell without the internet, and we can make it. So, pray, protest, and preach against the left. The world has survived for thousands of years before we had the internet. We can do it again. The internet did not cause the fall of Rome. It did not win World War II. It did not win anything. So, be of good cheer. Trust in the Lord, and He will bring it to pass. God bless. Let freedom ring.